What's good, family? My name is Clem de la Creme. Thank you for being here with me right now. So today was my third day of class, and today was the first day of my music composition class. And I showed up 2 minutes late. I have no excuse. I live 10 minutes away, and I slept late, woke up late, and yeah, but right when I walk into class, I see everybody has different DAWs open, and I'm like, yo, what are we doing? And the teacher's like, hey, just go find the computer there at the end, and you have 1 hour to make a full, complete piece. And he's like, you can use whatever DAW you want, but just go, make something. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter how good or how bad or whatever anything is. We just want you guys to create, to play, have fun, make it now. You have 1 hour, one time limit, make some decisions. And that right there gets all of us kind of realizing, well, what kind of decisions do we have to make? Right off the get-go, I'm like, well, what DAW do I use? Because I use Logic, I use Ableton. Excuse me. I was just drinking Dr. Pepper. But I'm used to having my own laptop and my own, sounds, my own plugins, and I'm here, and also, I'm like, well, I want it to be good. What if we have to share our stuff with the class and whatnot? But I'm trying to get out the way, start playing around, have some fun. So I choose Ableton, and I start trying to get things going, start picking the instruments and whatnot. And the MIDI keyboard is not working. I'm like trying to troubleshoot it. I spent like 5 minutes and still not working. And so I figured out how to switch it over to just using the keys, and I'm using ASDF on the actual typing keyboard to make my sounds. I start picking my things, and on the side of my computer a little thing pops up and tells you, oh, here's how you can record your drum beats. Because when I've been working in Ableton, half the time like my MIDI things, I do them in Logic or some other stuff like that. So this was a step outside of my comfort zone. But I make like a basic drum beat, and I start tweaking the sounds using transients and vocoders and whatnot to make things different, and the thing starts sounding kind of heavy. And it started off as like a smooth, chill vibe, and then it was kind of getting like mean and deep and like angry. I'm like, I don't even know what kind of genre I'm working on right now, like a 120 BPM and whatnot. But it's a composition course, so suddenly as the time goes on, it's like, yeah, you got 15 minutes left, and like whatnot. And so I start working on my arrangement, and I bring it back full circle to those smooth, chill vibes. Now the piece, it was what it was, but the progression and the story that it made, that was what was beautiful, because it kind of like went like in a few different directions and has like movement and flow through it, which I love. And that's not always the case. Sometimes I'm working on some beats, and the beats are good, and there's like changes and transitions, but the vibe is pretty similar and consistent throughout. So working on pieces like this is fun to me. And afterwards, we don't share our things with the class. We end up, we're gonna do introductions. And so we get paired up, and we get to interview and introduce another person to the class. So I interview this guy from London, and his name is Rez, and he was inspired by his older brother to start pursuing music. So in high school, he started, writing his rhymes and singing, and then he started producing he started playing guitar first, and later started producing his own beats. And he was using FL Studio, and his hopes and dreams are to become an artist and to be able to produce his own music and his own instrumentals, because he wants to have like full control over his message, his composition, the way he wants to share his story with the world. And so that was pretty cool and admirable. And he's got a song coming out on Sunday. I believe I think he said chill dubstep vibes with some rapping on 2 verses and singing on the hook. And one of the verses has like vocoder, what's it? I'm blanking on this one. Akon. No, T-Pain. What's the? sure everybody's thinking the word right now and knows what I'm talking about, but the effects that you throw on vocals. This is gonna kill me. Auto-tune. Yeah, a little bit of auto-tune on one of his verses. So that's coming out Sunday. And he interviewed me, and then it came time to, share the stories with the class. So I stand up and I tell, similar to what I just said to you, to the class. And when they ask, is anybody who wants to go first, I shoot my hand up because I want to make sure I remember enough details and that it's there and fresh in my mind. And so I can, share everything that I heard that he wanted to share with me. And then when it came time for him to share, he was sharing my story, my details, and it was very interesting to see, pretty much what they heard, what details stuck out to them. Because, similar to art and to other things, you can put what you want out there, but how somebody else hears it and sees it and receives it can be entirely different. So he focused on certain parts of my own story, my own journey, and left out certain others, as well as got a couple of my own details twisted. And so inside I'm like, but that's not this, and like my ego's like, but he didn't talk about this, and they're not gonna know that about you, and like I said, the ego was getting in the way. I said he has a track coming out on Sunday, and I mentioned about my track, which is coming out on the 20th, which I think maybe is Monday, I can't remember. And he didn't mention my music coming out, and so I was like, oh, he didn't even mention my music coming out, they're not gonna hear it, and like, meh. But my music's gonna be out there, and people are gonna listen. I hope you listen. And so, I found out later we have our group forums. He says, hey, anybody in the class who has, our teacher said, if anybody has any music coming out, things they want to share, put it on the class forum. So, I'm about to drop my details in the class forum and plug that, because I'll put myself out there because my music is here to be heard. Because that's what, a lot of things are for. It's to share with other people, share your self-expression, share your music, share your art, share your successes. Because when you share your successes and your joy, with other people, then like it gets doubled and grows. And I love to see other people succeed, because when you succeed, I succeed. We all succeed. We all get to grow, and we all get to watch other people do really great things. There's times where I can see myself comparing me to other people online, and I'm like, oh, I gotta shake myself out of that. That they're not me and I'm not them. I don't know what they've been through, what got them to where they're at, some of the things, but the thing to do is to see the stuff that really lights you up, that you see other people doing. And when other people are shining, what inspires you about that? Sharing their successes, clap for them. If you can't, then there's one time I first started freestyling, and I was on my way to an event, and someone called me, and they're talking about this issue that they had with one of their friends. And I was like, oh, well, usually if you've got an issue with somebody else, you should pray for them. And I was just giving this advice, and I was like, I've actually never used that advice myself. I just said it. So I was like, I'm gonna start praying for the other person who has these freestyle skills, who I'm jealous of. And I started praying for them. By the time I got to the event, like I didn't have any of those feelings at all either anymore. With the either part, I'm saying either because I was just talking about the person who called me, but I actually don't know if it worked for them. But for me, it did. When I prayed for that other person, it took away my resentments against them. It took away my jealousy. And it reminded me like, oh, they've been doing it for years. You just started freestyling. How do you expect to be where they're at if you haven't done the work yet? Come on, bro. So it allowed me to appreciate their shine, and also appreciate my own journey, my own path, and my own skills. But if I'm looking at other people and I'm getting jealous, or I'm comparing myself, I'm like, oh, how come they got things that I don't have? Or how come, then there's something wrong with what I'm doing with my life. I'm focused too much on other folks, not enough on myself. It means I'm not happy with what I'm doing usually. And so it means it's time to make changes and do something different. Maybe do something more, maybe do something less. But to do something. Anyways, this started back with like sharing your work with the world with other people. And my teacher for this composition class, they have built artists, they've produced work for other artists, they've collaborated and done many things, but they shared they never put out any of their own work. Theirs is like perfectionism and stuff like that. They're worried about it not being finished enough or not being good enough. And there's something to that. If it doesn't sound good to you, then don't share it yet. But if it sounds good to you, and if it sounds like all right, yeah, this is what it should be, then put that out and share that. Share that with the world, because if you don't, it's just gonna sit there. And then also you start if you don't, then you might outgrow your skills or the music that you're working on. But I'm looking forward to, hopefully watching my teacher put out some work and see him put himself out there. And, stop worrying about the judgment that the world might have, because not everybody's gonna like what you do. Not everybody's gonna vibrate with your work or your music or your accomplishments. Not gonna be clapping for you. Not everyone's gonna be celebrating with you. I've got people who are close friends of mine who they don't pay attention to what I do. They don't pay attention to my music. They don't pay attention to some of my stuff. So they don't share in those celebrations. So I appreciate everybody that does listen to my work, that does see my work, that watches these videos. I appreciate you watching this video right now, because you get to help celebrate these moments in my life with me. I've got my own family hasn't heard a lot of my music, and yeah, and I'm okay with that today. But that's also back to music being subjective. One person might think it's trash, but another person might hear it and be like, "Ooh, that's gold right there. That's that platinum hit you got." And I don't know if you have. I do not know if you have a platinum hit, but I do know that you'll have people that vibrate with what you're putting out there. And in our class today, we actually were trying to define, what is good and bad music? And one thing that my teacher mentioned that resonated with me was the idea of good music being something that rewards the listener. Now, that might mean many different things. Maybe it's a message that you connect with. Maybe the music makes you move. Maybe it's just enough to be there, to be played over again, to be background stuff. There were other words that were more eloquent than the ones I just used, when my teacher was describing a little bit of this, but I'm just sharing this with you. So it was a good day in my composition class, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the semester. And just like all of my other classes, there were people from all over the world. A lot of people from here in the UK, but also people from Brazil, Turkey, France, and I don't know if there was someone from Poland in this class. Maybe it was yesterday. But people from all over coming together with different vibes, different types of music. And we did that. We talked about genres of music. And it's cool because we all vibe with different genres, but as people are being introduced by others, ears are pricking up, from different people. Some, there was a bunch of tech house people, so people were like, oh, maybe, we could work on some stuff or whatever. And myself, I'm always listening for other hip hop heads and beat producers and whatnot. And it was cool. It was really cool. But just another day. I finished class, talked with some people on the way outside of the class, got myself a falafel, and now I'm here. Time to work on more projects, time to get this video up and out to you, and keep sharing with the world. But the day is not done yet. So I hope that wherever you are at, you are doing some small thing to move forward with your dreams and your passions. And if you have something that you need to share it. Put that out there. We want to see it. But that's all I got right now. My name is Clem de la Creme. I look forward to seeing you next time.